Hi there, and welcome to an episode of Ennovus Chat. Today we're going to be focusing on the subject matter of lighting, commercial lighting in the sustainability workspace. I'm pleased to be joined by Jed. Jed,
yep, nice to meet you. You all right, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. Please introduce yourself.
So I'm Jed Marvick, part of the Ennovus projects team, specialised with lighting.
Excellent. Well, thanks for that, Jed. So you've been working in this marketplace for a while. Your
Yep.
day job is kind of project management.
Correct.
But you kind of have a particular experience in LED lighting projects. So
Yes.
tell me about lighting. Things have changed over the years. We sort of, everybody starts to be familiar now with LED, but
Yep.
what is the fundamental difference between several years ago was a different type of lighting? What are the different?
So lighting back in the day, we used to have halogen.
Okay.
So halogen was there was a lot more usage than output. So what we tend to have is how we used to have in our houses was a 100-watt glass bulb, which gave out not as much looms as what we have now. So now what we tend to do is if you've got a 100-watt lamp, you would use a 10-watt LED. So that's the reference.
Okay.
And they also give out, if not more, but the same amount of looms, which is the light that gives out.
Okay. So the light.
So a lumen is the light that comes out of one. So as you can see, if you had the old style of 100-watt ones, they used to be quite a yellowy colour.
Yeah.
Nowadays we can get warm white, cool white, and they go from 2K to 6K. So 2K would be your yellowy lights, and they would work their way up to a 7K, which is extremely bright, which we tend to have in hospital theatres, places where you need that brightness so you can see, just because it's more an intense light for that area. Cool white we tend to keep in nice areas, so sitting like this, and then you'll go up to your 4K for your corridors, which need to be a little bit more brighter.
So the development of technology over a period of time, one of the things that it's done is to enable the adaptability of the lighting required to the scenario at hand, which sort of perhaps didn't exist so much, 10, 15, 20 years ago?
So you had your temperatures, but it wasn't as much as what it is now. So nowadays you can actually pick your range. So for an example, in a house, what you tend to do is you'll normally have a warmer white in your living room and your bedroom because they're more relaxing on the eye. Mm-hmm. But if you go into your kitchens and your bathrooms, they're more of an intense white light.
Yeah.
Just because obviously you need to see clearer.
Yeah.
And it's not a relaxing setting. Usually nowadays you've got types of dimming LEDs, so you can dim them down. So what we use on our sites is a CCT. So you can change the output and the temperature of them, so it can range from a 20-watt lamp or a panel to a 60-watt. So you can change the range depending on what. If, for example, the client wants more light, we can up that to a 40-watt, and it can go as high as from 20 to 60. So it will depend on what they want as the output. So instead of buying several different lights, that one light can change its colour or temperature all the way through from 20 to 60 watt, which will give more looms for that area.
Okay. So there's a bunch of things that you said there, but it sounds like the evolution of this technology in the lighting space has kind of changed the landscape a little bit.
Yep.
And with that, by the sounds, changed things that maybe impact from a cost point of view.
Correct.
The cost proposition for businesses.
Yep.
As well as businesses looking at from a sustainability standpoint.
Yes.
With different energy usages, impacts on carbon emissions. So
Yep.
talk me through that a little bit, the impacts of the technology and how that is impacting things.
So for a lighting upgrade, you will tend to, on the lighting bill, you will tend to save between 50 to 70%. That's just because obviously if you've got a 400-watt halogen lamp in your warehouse, you don't need that much. So the amount of looms that will kick out would initially give you a 100-watt floodlight. So the 100-watt halogen high bay, well, the LED high bay, would have the same amount of output, but a less wattage.
Okay.
So you are saving automatically 300 watt per fitting.
Yeah.
So say, for example, you've got 100 of these in one warehouse and you're using 30,000, quick maths, I think that's right, you will initially be saving 20,000 straight away, 30,000 straight away.
Okay.
Just because of the amount that you are using.
Yeah.
And an energy point of view, that is between 30 to 40% of your energy bill.
Yeah.
So LED upgrades, you will save on your lighting bill between 50 and 70%, but on your overall energy bill, it is 30 to 60.
Okay.
So all depending on what type of business you are. So how we are today, we're in a commercial setting, we're in an office. This can, from when this was upgraded, this saved, I think it was 45%.
Okay. Because there's no manufacturing processes going on here.
No.
It's, well, we've got, lighting, computers.
Yep.
So it's a bigger part of it.
And another thing that we use quite regularly here is sensors. So all our lights are censored. So if nobody is in the area for a certain amount of time, they will turn off.
Okay.
Which is another thing that can save for a business. So if that area is vacant between, it could be anything from 5 minutes to 30 minutes, they will either turn off completely, or we can set them to a point where they dull down to between 20 and 50% of their output.
Yeah.
As soon as somebody walks into that area, they will then come on and illuminate the area so it's safe for them to walk through or work in. And then when that time passes again, the lights will dim down.
Yeah.
So there's a cost saving exercise there. So the lights aren't initially using 100% of their capacity throughout the day. It will drop down to between 20%. And then when somebody activates it, it will go back up.
So in your experience, do everybody always take an LED kind of lighting setup? Do they always put sensors in? Or is that, there's another investment case there? How does that work?
It's both. It depends on how the client wants to work it. So when we go to site and we have a chat with the clients, we find out what they want.
Yeah.
And how much, what they want to save, what their areas of footpath is. So say, for example, there's quite a few on a corridor. We can do it, but we tend to stay away just because of the footfall.
Yeah.
But if they've got a quiet area in certain areas, in a factory, for example.
Yeah.
So some areas might not be occupied between certain times of the day.
The storage area.
Yep.
That's in and out.
Yep. So we can put a sensor on that. So instead of somebody forgetting to turn the light off and they're on for the next 3 weeks, we can actually install a sensor where somebody is in there for 10 minutes, they come out, 5 minutes later the light goes off.
Okay.
And that's how, because we as humans are in a rush. We can forget to turn lights off. We do it every single day in a house. We do it all the time. So what we need is, if we can put sensors in areas that aren't used as much, we can put sensors there.
Okay.
And that will then increase the chance of, one, the saving, and also from an energy point of view, it will work for your business.
Yeah.
So instead of just having lights on for the sake of having lights on, they will dim down or turn off completely, saving you on your energy bill.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So, and all of that then ultimately drives a sustainability viewpoint. So if
Correct.
you're reducing your energy consumption, your emissions from that is ultimately fallen. So you're reducing carbon emissions.
Definitely.
And so it becomes part of that plan.
Yep.
Okay. In terms of a typical scenario that you and your team have been involved in, can you kind of walk me through that? What do you do? Local hardware store, just go and buy a load of lamps? What's the deal?
So we've got,
What's the route to market?
so we've got on our suppliers, we've got several lighting suppliers, ranging from really bespoke lighting to your generic lighting. But what we tend to find is, I have decided to pick the best, because they provide our clients with 7 years warranty, which is 5 years product warranty and 2 years on-site warranty, equaling 7, just because we want to make sure the client's peace of mind is there.
Yeah.
We guarantee that our lights that we use from our suppliers are the best, just because they have gone through every questionnaire that I have decided to do. They go through vigorous testing, and because of the warranty, it provides me with a peace of mind that our clients are getting the best. Because if you get them deciding to go to your local hardware stores, they haven't got that length of warranty, they've got 1 year.
Okay.
And because of that, I wouldn't feel comfortable putting them in there because we can't provide our client with a type of efficiency, something where they don't have to control. So we can control that it's a case of they've got 7 years warranty.
Yeah.
We know it's going to be looked after. And our installers are also extremely popular with, they are well known with these installers. We go through our competency questionnaires with our installers, so they know this product off by heart and they know how to install it.
Yeah.
And from an overall point of view, we can provide this as a whole service and it's delivered to the best it can.
Okay.
So going to your local hardware suppliers isn't the best.
Yeah.
Just because that warranty
And I
isn't
assume
there.
a cost impact there, it's kind of structured.
Yeah.
There must be, is there an element of bulk buying that when sourcing these?
Yeah, and another issue with using a wholesaler is going to your local hardware store is our costs include suppliers and contractors.
Okay.
So we put it together as a package. Instead of going to your local hardware store and buying your lights separate, then having to outsource your labour, we do it all.
Yeah.
So in-house, we can provide installation teams, we can do supply of lights, the warranties there covered, and we pride ourselves on installing without causing any disruption to businesses.
Yeah.
So would it be schools, sports arenas, warehouses, office blocks, we will deliver the project to our clients' needs.
Yeah.
So if it has to be out of hours, we will deliver it. If it has to be at a certain time in the day during the afternoon, we can do it. It's just about communication with our customers and trying to find out what they need.
So Jed, if you wanted to look at considering one of these projects, how long does it take to design, propose, and what information do you need to enable you to put a solution in front of an organisation that is interested in such a project?
So firstly, then we would need to do a site survey.
Okay.
To gather all the information. We will need to know your pence per kilowatt, what fittings you've got on site. As soon as we've done that, the turnaround period is a week.
Yeah.
So we will gather the information. So from an initial phone call, in that first week, we'll have a survey sorted. And then by the end of the 5 days or 7 days, you will have your quote of savings and what we can implement within a week.
So really quick and simple.
Yeah.
And sort of other than being at site, limited information.
Limited information. Unfortunately, lighting, we do have to come to site to see what you've got.
Yeah.
It's just one of them because we can't see inside buildings.
Yeah.
But as soon as we've got that information, that will then develop our quote straight away.
Yeah.
All we need from our clients is the pence per kilowatt rate and
from a utility invoice.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then literally just their presence to allow us into the building to have a walk around, which usually take anything, depending on the size of the business, between 1 to 4 hours. It depending on 4 hours being you've got 2,000 lights.
Yeah.
1 hour being you've got less than 100 up to 500, depending on what you've got.
Okay. So nice and simple.
So nice and simple.
Yeah.
It's quite easy to develop a lighting one, just because we are solely looking at lighting. You've already got everything there from an asset point of view.
Yeah.
It's just connecting the new lights in.
Okay.
But from a saving point of view, it's one of the biggest things you can do in an energy business.
So Jed, you've taken order on a design that somebody wants to go ahead with. Walk me through at a high level what that project delivery looks like and what is needed from an organisation side. What considerations do they need to make during the fit out?
So as soon as that contract is signed, we can get the lights delivered from the next day to the day after. It all depends on what we've got in stock. So our suppliers have got all next day delivery. So if you sign that, say for example on the Friday, we can be there on the Monday.
Okay, so real quick. Yeah.
So real quick, depending on the size of the client. So if it ranges from 100, it could literally take 2 days to install that. Up to 1,000, which could potentially take 4 weeks, depending on that working environment.
Yeah.
So we've done quite a lot with hotels. Hotels are a little bit tricky because obviously some of their rooms will have their customers in,
guests in
so
the
we
rooms.
can't just walk in and go, I'm going to put your lights on.
Excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah. So that takes a little bit more planning. So when it comes to a trickier environment, we have to obviously liaise with that client on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Because we will put a plan together on how to deliver that. So when it comes to them, it can be between 6 to 10 weeks, depending on how that works.
Yeah.
But initially, if it's an office or a warehouse that is quite open planned,
Yeah.
you are probably looking in the max of a week to 2 weeks to deliver that project. We will work around you. So if you tell us areas that we can work in on this day and this day, we will go into that area.
Yeah.
All project management is done by myself. So that will go from being on site weekly to check up on how the progress is going, liaising with the client, making sure that they are happy from a health and safety point of view,
Yeah.
from that they are finding our contractors to be perfect, as they are, we know they are. And it just takes the management steps to make sure from start to finish that our clients are given the best possible service as a whole. And it works, to be honest. But from a lighting point of view, it can be anything from a 1-day install of 100 lamps,
Yeah.
which is relatively quick, all the way up to 10 weeks, depending on how that environment and how many lights they are.
Okay. And is there any aftercare? Is there something that happens after the delivery of the implementation?
So we will deliver the project. We will then give the clients the handover pack. So that will include all the warranties, what lights have been fitted in certain areas, just so when the clients have got an issue with that area or that light, they can pinpoint that exact light on their handover pack.
Yeah.
Which will then allow us to follow up with that, speak to our lighting suppliers and go, right, there's a fault on this light. We know exactly what light it is. We know what area it is. They will then turn up and be able to fix it. After that initial 2 years, it's then down to the client, or the client will then look at that and literally they will know, pinpoint what area is wrong.
Yeah. Okay. So LED lighting has been around in that technology for a while.
Yep.
I'm assuming, like all technologies, it's sort of constantly evolving. Things are changing or improving. So a lot of commercial buildings, I assume, will already have LEDs in place.
Hopefully.
You'd have thought. But is there still buildings out there with sort of typical halogen light bulbs? So is there a business case for both? Obviously, for the halogen to replace that by the sounds, but will there be a situation where places that have got LED light bulb lighting already need to look to replace them at some point?
Yeah, so what you would tend to see is LED lighting lasts for about 10 years.
Okay.
7 to 10 years, and then it starts to lose its efficiency. The components inside will start to not be as efficient as they should be.
Yeah.
So what you will notice with the lights is they'll slowly start to go yellow as they're burning out.
Okay.
Very much like how the halogens used to. You used to notice that you used to get the burn marks at the end of your tubes. That means the filament is burning out. So 7 to 10 years, we need to obviously look at replacing those LEDs to go to the next technology to make them more efficient.
Yeah.
And then again, they will also, because they are more efficient, they will save you money on your energy bills and lighting bills.
Yeah.
And then you've got another 10 years of that new lighting until something then comes along that's even more efficient.
Yeah.
So it's a case of developing that business and saving our clients money. LEDs from 10 years ago, 20 years ago are nowhere near as efficient as what they are now.
Yeah.
You will notice the old style, if you've still got them in your facilities, they'll have dots in them and you'll visibly see the dots. What there is now is there is a glare screen, so you can't see the individual dots, because what you was noticing in the older ones, you'd notice the dots and they'd play on your eyes.
Yeah.
So if you was to take the panel off the front of an LED panel, you'd notice that it's an individual filament all the way across. That's what used to play with your eyes. Then they were redeveloped, so it was making them more user-friendly. So everything changes and develops over a small period of time.
Yeah.
So if you had your LED lighting 10 to 7 years ago, now there is a more efficient product out there that would then save you even more on your energy bills and less likely to have any issues with them, because 10, 20 years ago is when we first started developing LEDs. So there was always going to find issues. Nowadays, because they are needed by everybody, they are there. And the testing has gone a lot better.
Okay.
So yeah, life cycle of an LED is between 7 and 10 years.
Okay. Jed, take me through if somebody is interested in implementing an LED project. Firstly, take me through what that process looks like to source them.
Yep.
So I guess quoting and the business case, and then secondly, take me through you've got the order to proceed.
Yep.
Take me through the delivery of the project. So yeah.
So it initially starts with if it's an inbound or an outbound lead.
Yeah.
So what we tend to offer for all of our lighting surveys is a free energy bill, for energy audit.
Okay.
So they will go out. So we'll send an auditor out. They will survey your site, check the wattage of your lighting, check what the areas are, the lux levels in them areas. Then we will come back. We will do a bespoke lighting design for each client, and then work out what your energy savings would be for them for that upgrade.
Yeah.
From there, if the client is happy, we will then go back to our client, find out what their more needs are, if there is anything that they want to change and adapt, because some clients will see, oh, you can do this, as in if they want a linear light instead of a panel in there, if they want something to have a sensor in, because you've got different types of sensors. So you've got a microwave sensor, you've got a PIR, you've got nowadays you've got different softwares. So you've got Kasambi, etc., which can all go through Bluetooth.
Okay.
Which again you can change everything from. So it all depends on what the client wants. If it goes from there and into a project, the initial installation can vary. It's LEDs quite quickly to install because the asset is already there. It's just literally changing the fitting. So we tend to do it with no disruption. We regularly communicate with the client. Like I say, all our contractors are very much on point. They have all the accreditations there. They've gone through all vigorous checks to make sure that they are good at their job. So an LED project can range from a week to 4 weeks, depending on the size. It could probably go longer depending on how many lights they've got. But it's a case of delivering it safely, making sure it's correct with the health and safety and the CDM regulations. And when that is delivered, we will then go out, commission everything, check everything is working fine.
Yeah.
So from a lux level, from a warranty level, and then the handover pack with all the warranty is given to our client. So the client is down. They've got everything and all the information that they need.
Okay. All right. In terms of obviously lighting spaces within businesses or commercial building places, so a lot of those are the business's shop front, and so the look and the feel, even for its own employees, has got to be on point.
Yes.
So it's not just about sourcing the right LED, but I'm assuming fittings is a thing that you have to consider.
Yep.
Is there limitations? Is there a huge catalogue of options for the design and what a lighting setup looks like?
So nowadays it isn't just how we used to have a linear tube and your lamp. That you screw in lamp. Yeah. It's not how it used to be. Okay. We've now got there's thousands of designs that you can now have. So you can have, for example, you've got downlights, which if you've got an office block and you've got ceiling tiles in, if you don't want the normal panel, you can have a downlight. You've got your panels which can range from different colours. You can have skylights put on them so it looks like you're looking at a nice pretty picture. You've got different sizes. There is that many now. So lighting has evolved massively from a design point of view. You can get really smart looking ones. You can get high bays, which are very industrial. What's happened over the last couple of years is there is more of an office range, a warehouse range, a house range. So there is different ranges throughout now, and it's huge. There's a huge range now. It's not just a case
Which is great. I guess the point being is that, newer technology, is it limited in the look and the feel? It's functional.
It's functional.
The business's case is good, but does it look good? It's something that's on, and it sounds like there is options.
Yes. So depending on what scale your business is, you can go from your downlights to your panels to your fluorescent tube to LED tubes. But nowadays there is that much you can have. So you can have display lighting.
Yeah.
You can have floodlights that go inside now, and they will shine upwards and downwards.
Okay.
You can have chandeliers that are now LED, which as you walk into a reception of a business and you see a massive chandelier that's LED,
yes,
you think that's eye-catching.
Yeah.
And it looks good for that client. So we work with our clients to develop to find out what they want and make it bespoke to them. We can source them lights. If they want something really extravagant and fancy and modern, we can source them.
Yeah.
That's not an issue, because we've got, like I say, our suppliers on board that can provide different solutions for our clients. It's not just the bulkheads, your panels and your downlights. It's completely changed now.
Okay, excellent. In terms of getting these kind of solutions off the ground, the financing of it is often a big case. Speaking to businesses, they're always looking to try and find ways to build a business case. Are there funding solutions? Are there grants available? What would you recommend to businesses out there?
So at the minute, there is obviously your CapEx, which is you pay the whole thing in full.
Okay.
Or what we've got is a funding solution. So we offer funding solutions on all of our lighting technologies. So it can vary. Grants wise, at the minute there isn't anything out there, just because obviously the government is up and down. 10 years ago, there were several grants going out there. There is individual smaller grants per council, but they're a lot harder to get, just because everybody in that area. So it could be, for example, the Leicester City Council, they might have a pot, but to try and spread that out amongst everybody is kind of hard.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of mouths to feed.
Yes, there's a lot of mouths to feed in such a small city or such a big city. Same as my local area of Nottingham. That's again got its own cash pot, but a vast area to fill. But coming back to it, the funding solutions are there. For me, the funding solution is probably the better one for a lighting project, just because from the day of install, it's an immediate save.
Okay.
So the way that we tend to work it is you deliver a project, or we install the project, you pay out of your savings.
Right, okay.
So there is no initial cost to you as a client. So say, for example, rough figures, your lighting bill or your energy bill for the month is £1,000.
Yeah.
And we put LEDs in it, say for example it goes down to 600.
Yeah.
You're automatically saving 400, so we can take a percentage of that payment to cover the lighting.
Okay.
As a service.
So that from the get-go they say.
Yes.
And how long do those funding packages tend to last to pay that?
Lighting, it can range from 3 to 7 years.
Okay.
Yep.
And so you can model things.
So we can model things to suit you.
Okay. No, really good.
Thank you very much.
If there's any advice or final kind of message you send to organisations out there that are pondering it or not considering looking at their lighting solutions, what would it be that you'd say to the audience?
Change your lighting as quick as you can, because it will save you an absolute fortune on your lighting and on your energy bill.
And with it, carbon.
And with it, your maintenance costs go down as a business, just because of the 7-year warranty that we've got in place.
Yeah.
Due to the old halogens that used to break regularly because they were kept on for so long, and the filament used to burn out, that's another cost that's saved by regenerating and getting more lights. In this day and age, you've got your T8s and your T12s that are now obsolete. So if you've got the the bigger battens, as they wanted to call them, the bigger linear lighting, they are now discontinued, and you can't get them from anywhere because they contain a high level of mercury, which is hazardous to us.
Okay.
So if you've got them on your site, it's another case from a health and safety point of view that you need to upgrade them. But lighting as a whole is probably the quickest saver on your energy bills. You find immediate savings straight away.
Yeah.
For a start, they last 7 to 10 years. So these lights you will not have to, hopefully, not have to change for 7 to 10 years. If you're doing them first 7 years, our warranty covers that.
Yeah.
And the cost is just, it's there.
Excellent. Jed, thanks for your
Thank you very
your
much.
time. Cheers, and see you all soon.